Hi everyone, welcome back to our session. Just give me a minute, I'll be sharing my screen. Could you please confirm, are you able to see my screen and able to hear me over the chat window? Thank you. So in the last session, we have discussed about the if condition, conditional statements, operators, and so the operators, data types, and all. So today we'll be discussing about the switch statement, which is similar to the conditional statements and which includes which it is also a part of the conditional statements. And yeah, before going to that, there is a conditional ternary operator, so which is it will be working like a if else, so which is if you can see that this is the syntax of it, which is a condition. Condition, if it is true, then it will be question mark, and followed by the true statements. And if it is false, then it will be using the colon, and then false statements followed with it. So here the condition is an expression, and if the condition is true, then the true statements will execute, and else the false statements will execute. I'll quickly show you a simple example. So generally, if we write any if-else statement, we'll be writing like this, right? And if you do the console over here, okay, now I'm starting an application. So as you can see, this is below 16. So which is I have given the statements like this, which is a simple if-else statement, and this is above 16. So the same thing we can write using the conditional ternary operator. I'm just making this comment and I'm just using condition over here. So this is the condition. Okay, put as question mark. Then the message is the one which is if it is true, then it should be there. And then else statement. Okay, so in that case, if I use 13, that is below 16, and 33 is above 16. So this is a simple conditional ternary operator where we can make use of instead of using the if else. Okay, so we can also try with a multi-level conditional ternary operator, which is like we'll be using one inside and the one. So if it is true, then it will be another condition. You can make the parenthesis of it and you can make use of that. So parenthesis, it will separate the contents of your, it will collect your contents and it will be like you can maintain inside the parenthesis. So you can do whatever you want inside that. Okay, so this is the conditional ternary operator. And next comes to like switch statement. So switch statement comes with the syntax like if we have to evaluate it accordingly with the expression, and then we'll be having a cases will be there based on the expression result. The cases will be matching, and it will be executing that particular statement of here. And the break statement is used to break that block. So earlier, if you see that if-else statement, this is the if-else statement, it will check each and everything, like if A equals to 20, if it is not A equals to 30. So it will check one by one kind of thing. So first it will check this, and as this, and as this, and as this kind of. But in the switch statement, whenever there is a expression based on that expression, it will straightly come to the particular value, And if it is there, if it is here, then it will execute that statement and it will break that block. So if you want to break the block, it will be using the break keyword over here. So break keyword is used to break that block. So we will see the break a little later. So in the loops, we'll be using this break statement, how it is useful. So now, so switch statement evaluates an expression, compares its results with case values, and executes the statement associated with the matching case value. So that is what it will be. And we'll see a simple example. I'm just taking a simple example over here, and I've also tried to give you a simple assignment also in this. So if you are able to do that, let me know, or else if you are having any questions, we'll discuss. So if you can see here, I'm taking the day manually by using like I'm defining the date over here. We can change the date based on, you can see the output over here. And I just want to calculate the day name over here by using the switch case. So in this, I'll be switching, I mean in the switch, I'll be using the day, and I'll be mentioning that cases over here, which is like case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. So there's 1 to 7, those are all the cases along with the days I'll be using. So if it is the first date is Sunday, I just want to say the Sunday into the day name and kind of. So if it is not a uh, apart from 7, so 1 to 7, if it is not a number, I mean, if it is something else what we are providing over there in the day, then it will be an invalid number, so I'll be using like this. So that is the default case it will be having. So default will not have any break, only cases will be having some breaks. So now I'm just trying to do this case number 4, and I'm just saving it. I'm just opening the browser. We can see that the Wednesday it will be appearing, so which is it will be coming into this particular case. So what if I don't have this break over here? So I just remove this break, and if you can see here, then the result will be going to the Thursday, because this it is not breaking it up, and it will be continuing to the next case, and it will be executing it. Right. So that is the reason the break should be there for every cases like this. Okay. So that is what the switch statement, and switch statement where it is, where the value it will be at, it will be going to the value and it will be continuing further. So if it is if the break is there, it will break from here and it will exit from that particular switch statement, which is like it is a block. If you can see, this is a block, and you need to have to get out of that block. So for that, we'll be using the break. Okay, so that is the switch. And you can also do an assignment like if you provide the year and month, you just have to calculate the number of days in that month. It will come to like if you can see January and March and May, all this. Some months will be having 31 days, and some months will be having 30 days, and only in the February month it will be having 28 days. For the leap year, it will be 29. So based on the year, we need to have to calculate that particular year is a leap year or not. And based on that, if it is a leap year, if you are asking for the February month, then it has to show the number of days out there. So this is the simple logic of the leap year, and you just have to calculate the number of days provided year and month. So in this example, we are providing only the day, right? So if you are switching any other day, then it will be displayed, right? So now it is in the case like you need to have to define the year also, and I just have to give that year and month. So if it is second month, what it will be, what are the how many number of days you need to have to get. That is what the task you need to have to do. So try that. If you are having any questions in that, we will discuss. Right. So you need to have to calculate the number of days per month. Okay. So that is what the assignment is. So now I'm going forward. So today we'll be discussing about the complex data type. So the complex data type object. So this is a complex data type. So complex data type is like till now we have seen the values like this, which is variables, which is a equals to 2, a equals to some text, or a equals to a true or false kind of thing. So now we just have to collect the values into a list, which is like an ordered list. If you can see, this is what all the collection it will be defining. So in JavaScript, we will be defining the a list in two types, which is like order list and unordered list. Order list will be collected within the square brackets, and another list with it will be collecting over here. But another list will be positioned by using the property names. And here the order list will be positioned by using the order, which is starting from the zero. And we'll see like those what are those and how it will be called and all. So list of two types, which is like an order list and unordered list. And order list will be calling it as an array, and unordered list will be calling it as an object. So firstly, like we'll discuss about the arrays. So array is an ordered list of values, and each value is called an element specified by an index. And for example, if you want to create a new array, we'll be defining with this array constructor. I'll show you in this. Okay, I'll just do some console.log of arr. So now we can see that like what it is getting. You can see here this is the array and this is the length property. And if you want to define anything over here, 1 comma 2 comma 3, I'm just giving that. And now you can see that that is having zeroth position, first position, second position, and the total it is length. And it is just an executable format. If you can see that this is an executable format, and we can also do with this by using executable format. And if I do the console.log of error 1, so it will be like this. Okay, so it is by writing like this is called as a literal notation. This is called as a new array constructor. So just like if you are using the array constructor, so in anything, whatever we will be using the new operator means new operator indicates the constructor. So if you can see, this is a new operator over here. So which is like we for array method we are using the new. So it is constructing the new array. And when it comes to like we are defining like this, so this is a constructor approach. And if you are using directly with the executable approach, that is the array literal notation, we can specify the elements like that and we can make use of it. So length is a property of an array, and with the number of it will gives you the number of elements in the list, and the positioning of the each and every element will be listing out with the index, and index starts from zero. And if you can see here, the 0, 1, 2, this is the index, and it will be giving you like this from there. So you can also check that like how it will be displayed. So for example, I just want to uh, give this with I just remove that, right? Okay, and I'll remove this also. So now if you can see, there are three elements, and the length property we are accessing over here, and the type of this array is an object. Okay, so that is what this is. This list will be coming as an object, and whatever it is an array or an object, it will come to the object property. I mean object data type. Okay, so now how to get the element from this particular array? So which is like we'll be having all this list, and for example, where array equals to, I'll just give some number, I'll just give some text, and I'll use some true condition, and I'll be using some more numbers, and I'll be using some undefined kind of thing. Okay. So now if you want to get an element in and specific to the position, so how do we get it? So that is what getting the element. We know if you know that index if it is there, for example, I just use the 4. So what is the value of the 4? So it will start from 0, right? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the answer would be 6. If it is 6, then that is good. So we have, if you check the length of it, so you can see that console.log of array dot length. So if it is 7, so I just want to access the console.log of arr of 9. Okay, I'm just trying to do that. So if you can see that that value is not there, it is undefined because it is not there. So if you can see that length is 7, right? I just try to get the seventh one. That is also undefined. And if you want to get the value, you can get the value like this. So which is like by using the array name of index. If you can specify that, it will be. And assigning the value to that particular array. So for example, the same thing array of 7 equals to new text. And I just try to get the array. Now if you can see that to text to 5 and undefined when it will be, so it will be 6. If I do the 6, now it will be replaced with that new text over here. Okay, so which is like it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the sixth one is this one. And if you are trying to add apart from that particular thing, so then it will be other this one. So which is like sometimes when the undefined values will be getting it as a um, empty values also. So can you need to have to check that with that. Okay, so this is how the getting, I mean, creating an array, getting an element, and you can replace that element, and you can also delete that element. So delete array of 4. Okay, and I just use console.log of array. So if you can see that in that array, fourth element it will be deleted and it will be empty. So if you can see that if it is empty, it's not a value. If you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing from here and 5 and 6. So we have removed that element from that position. So that is what the delete operator will do. So delete operator will take care of the deleting of that particular value from there. And if you want to know the index of a specified value, so for that, I will be using, so for example, console.log of array dot index of. Index of is the one which will gives you the index of that particular array. So for example, I just want to check the index of 6. So what is the value of 6 will be having? So if you can see, this is the fifth. So this is the sixth, and I mean fifth position. It is there. So if you want to update that, and if you are trying to get that one element, if it is a replaceable kind of thing. So for example, I just want to replace one element with so array, okay, and array of array dot index of, and if it is text, okay, then I'll be replacing with sample. Okay, so now if you do this and if you do the console.log, it will get replaced with this sample. Okay, so that is what it will be like. You need to have to find out that index by using this. So earlier we know the position like 6, 4, 7. This is all the indexes. Now if you want to find out that index, you'll be using index of whatever the value you will be having in this list. and then finding it out, and it will be you can replace with that. So like this, you can find the index, replace the value, delete the value, whatever the operation you can do, you can do that. So this is like the operations what we can do with the arrays. And there are more where we can make use of it, like which is adding an element to the end of the list. We'll be using the push method. So push method, which is adding an element to the end of the list. So I'll show you that as well. So I just copy this. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So if you can see it over here, I'm just making use of this particular thing. So if you can see, I'm adding by using the push of 6, it is adding an element to the end of the list. Okay. So that is what the push operator. And if I want to add something, array dot unshift of 7. And if I do the console dot log of array, okay, now you can see that the 7 has been added to the first position and all the other indexes has been shifted to the next number. So just like unshift operator is used to add the element to the beginning, and push operator, I mean push method, is used to add the element at the end of the list. Like that we'll be having more. So just array dot pop, and if you can see that, and array dot shift, and I'm doing the console dot log of array all the time. You can see that this is the original array, and after that we have pushed a 6 over there, and this is the unshift, and it is adding the 7 before, and it is the pop. Pop, it will remove the end of an element, and shift, it will be removing the first element of it. So to add the element to the end of the list, we'll be using push, and to add the element to the starting of an array, we'll be using unshift, and to remove an element from the end of an element, I mean to end of a list, we'll be using pop, and to remove the element from the starting of the list, we'll be using shift. So this is how it will be. Okay, these are the four core methods of the arrays, and it will be like this. And updating we have seen, and deleting also we have seen. So, and there is one more important thing is like if we want to check that whatever the array is array or not. So for example, I just remove all these things. Array dot is array of array. Okay, and var a equals to 20, and I just try console dot log of array dot is array of a. Now you can see that it will be getting the true and false. So if it is an array, then it will be true. Here we are getting the true value, and if it is not an array, it will be false. Okay, so this is how it will be. To check the values of array or not, we'll be using arrays. Array dot is array method. Okay, and then we have objects. So these are all the things. So we have lot many things to do with the arrays. So I'm just keeping it a whole, and we will be continuing with the you know um, objects, and we'll see how the objects, and then we'll again come back to the arrays and objects kind of thing. So it will be like a fixed one. So we'll be making use of this arrays and objects, and we can include object into an array, and we can include array into an object. We'll see how it goes and all. So now coming to objects. Objects are the unordered list contains the collection of properties, and each property is a key value pair. And unordered list will be having the keys with value, and it is called a property, and we'll be having all the properties inside. And literal notation is the one, so where we'll be using to define an object. So there are many ways to define an object in JavaScript, but mostly we'll be using the literal notation, like by using the curly brackets. And inside the curly brackets, we can use the property with the value and property name with the values like this, and we can mention whatever the type it will be. So for example, I just want to use this person over here, and that person I'll be making use of like this. You can see this person, it will be having like this, and there is a prototype it will be having. So the prototype of the object, and we can access the methods, and we can define the methods by using the prototype. You'll see the prototype little later. Okay, and if you can see, this is an object, and if you can see that here the key of a property can be a string, and the value of the property can be any value, string, number, array, object, boolean, and even a function also. We can define the function also over here. So if you can see, this is the string, this is a number, this is a boolean, and this is an array. So we can define anything. And to access something from here, we can use the two notations over here. So JavaScript provides many ways to create an object. The most commonly used one is the object literal notation by using the curly brackets. If you're writing like this, right, that is what the literal notation. And when an object has a multiple properties, we use comma to separate them. So that is what the comma it will be given over here. And each property which is assigning to a value by using this columns. And to access the properties, we use that to access the properties of an object, we use one of the two notations. There are two notations over here, dot notation and array-like notation. So dot notation means if you want to get the property from here. So for example, the person dot age is one thing. And if you want to get the console dot log of person of the condition like this. So we can make use of this like. So we will get those things which is like 23 and true, whatever the age and condition it will be having, right? So those things will be executing like this. So which is by this is what the literal notation. Okay? Sorry, this is what the dot notation. This is array-like notation, which means how we access the values in the array by using the square brackets, right? So that is what the array-like notation. So this is how it will be. The example has been given on that. And to update any property, so just we just have to. So as we know that particular property names here, so which is like person dot age equals to 34, and if you do the console dot log of person, it will be updated. If you can see, the 23 has been replaced with 34. And if you want to do some delete, so delete person dot age. Okay, and if I do the console dot log of person, now you can see that a last name after that the condition is that, so which is the age has been removed from this one. So like that, like we can do whatever you want accordingly, and deleting the property it is there. And if you want to check whether the property is there or not, so which is like we have removed this one, right? So I just use uh, age. In is the operator, so where it will be giving you age in person. It is false because age is not there. We have removed it. I'll check with marks. Okay, marks in person. then it is true. So just like it is for the validations we can make use of this and we can continue further to do any operations within the object. Then we will be verifying that the property is existing or not in that object. So that is the usage of this particular in operator. So this is how the I mean this particular objects with getting the data and all it will be there. So we can also use some combinations like this. So sometimes our data will be like address, it will be having um, again. And so like this if you are having. If you want to access this property, which is like address sheet and door number kind of thing. So we can access simply by using person dot address dot sheet dot. So like this, we'll be having multiple dots over there, so we'll be getting the B. But sometimes it is very tricky to understand what is there inside it. So which is like if you want to make use of following operators by liking we can make use of the combinations like this. For example, this we can simply write over here like this. So console.log of person dot address of street dot uh, and have the door number like this. We can use the both the combinations like this so that it will be easy for you to not put this dot all over. So just like it will be a combination all over like this. You can also use continuous, uh, with the arrow like notation also, just like a dot notation, just like person. Uh, if you can see all these things, it will be happening. So I'll just go with street block kind of thing. You can also use um, the same thing, which is by using dot notation, we can use the array like notation like this, and also we can make the combinations of dot notation and the array notation over here. Okay, so which is the notations we will be using to access the element and to put the element kind of thing. So that is the basic introduction of the objects and arrays, and we'll see how it will be going to and what are all the different other things what we will be discussing inside our programs. So now coming to like loops. So will be loops will be having a if you want to repeat a code based on the condition, we'll be using the loops, and we have the three types of loops. Basically, those are two. So which is like while and do while comes into the same category, but except with simple condition like whenever while is using, we'll be evaluating that expression, and based on the value, the statements will execute. But in the do while, this will be checking after the loop, and once it is taking care of the first uh, block execution, then it will check the condition. So while and do while are mostly the same thing, and which is similar things. And to understand it, we just have to see some examples. So while statement creates a loop that executes a block as long as the condition evaluates to true. And this is the syntax for like while expression and statements. And most importantly, when you are using the loops, you just have to check the condition whether it is the condition should have to break somewhere. If it is not breaking and if it is always true, then it will be going into a never-ending loop and the browser will hang it up. So that is the thing. So if you want to see some examples, so just like I just want to give you a simple examples like this. So I just want to add some numbers and I just want to print up to some while. So I have taken one var I equals to 0 and while I less than 5 and it is a block. and I just want to print the console.log of I, and I am just making use of I plus plus, and I am just using this one. So now we can see it over here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what if I haven't incremented? If I haven't incremented, it will go on never-ending loop, and the condition will always be true, and it will be like this. So if I save this, and now you can see that it is just my screen. If you can see here, it is just rolling, and I can't stop it now. It will be coming it up. You can see this is not working, and yeah, that we need to have to close the browser, and again we need to have to start the code again, and we need to have to dispose that server, and we need to have to start it up. So that is how it will be. So it will not respond. So so be careful while using this while. So just like you need to have to declare, and you need to have to check the condition, and you need to have to increment the value, and you need to have to, and likewise you like you will be having these examples. We can also do the reversal, which is like we can also taking the highest number, and we can come back by using the minus operators, plus operators, kind of thing. And when it comes to like do while statement, it creates a loop that executes a block until the condition evaluates to false, and where it will be having the do statement, and then we'll be having the while expression. So the same thing over here, this condition will be there just after this. Okay, this will be the same thing, the same output. But what if I just give I equals to 10? It should not execute, right? So if you can see here, the 10 is appearing because even if the condition is, okay, so if you can see it over here, the do, it will execute this block, and it will then condition, and it will be like this. The same thing if you are executing with a while, it will not execute. I just reverse it, and if you can see that while over here, I just put the 10. Now it will not execute. It is not executing. But here, whenever you are making some, I just cut this while condition and put some do, and this will be the while do while. So now it is, see, you can see that the block is executing one. So just like there is an advantage and there is a disadvantage accordingly. So just like if the condition is true, then you want to execute the block of code repeatedly, then you need to have to use a while loop. And if it is whatever the value it is, it has to execute once, and then it has to kind of check the condition. Then it will fall into the do while. So yeah, it depends upon how we are making use of it, and it can make use of. And also, if you want to make use of this with the arrays also. So for example, there is an array will be having 2 comma 3 comma like this. So I will be having some generic values. I'm just trying to get it. Okay. Now what I have to do is like while we just have to take a variable over here to make some temporary arrangement to check that value is there or not. So which is like I less than array dot length, and I just have to console dot log of array of I, and then I plus plus. It has to break somewhere. If it is not there, it will not. So if you can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what are all the values out there? I'm just printing it one by one like this. So by using the loop within that array. So like this we can do with the while loop, and also the do while it will be there. So now you try the simple assignment by using um, generate even numbers and odd numbers that is up to 50. So you can also see that how it will be printing, and you can also array. So you need to have, if it is a even number, it has to push into an even number array, and if it is an odd number, you need to have to push into the odd number array kind of thing. So you need to have to check that if it is an even number or odd number, and you need to have to push accordingly. So that you have to do, and let me know if you have any questions in that. And now it comes to like for loop. So for loop also the same thing where it will be having, but it is having default statements, and it's having a proper structure to define within this for loop. So which is like it creates a loop with three optional expressions, which is like an initializer, condition, and iterator. So we'll be having the list of statements inside. And initializer, it is having once the loop starts, and the whatever the initializer we are giving it for var to have the var I equals to 0, so that we can do it in the initializer part. And the condition, the boolean expression, what determines the iteration, and the boolean is whether the for loop should execute the next iteration or not. So you need to have to go with this condition, which is like in the while loop we'll be using the condition checking like this, right? So this is how. And the iterator executes in each and iteration, so which is like the whole statement executes iterator after each iteration, where it will be the for each and every iteration the I value should be, it has to be there, right? So just like we'll be trying this one. So firstly, like I just make use of this for loop with the var I equals to 0, I less than, um, I'm just going with the numbers first, and then I'll come back to that arrays, and console dot log of I. So which is like the y I will be incrementing, and it will be there in that. So 0 to 9 numbers have been getting over here by this. So if you can see, these are all optional. So we can also make use of these optional expressions outside. So for example, this and this, so we can use like this. Okay. Even this condition also we can make use inside an if statement, and you can also use that. It will work because these are optional expressions, which is like we can use some semicolons over here, and you can print it whatever you want in that. So that is what the optional expressions it means, but generally we'll be using like this. And if you want to read the data over here, we'll be using array dot length, and we'll be using array of I. Okay, then that will be printing your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kind of things, or whatever there in that, you can make use of it. So that is what it will be meaning, and we can also get some. So if we want to sum some numbers, so I just want to sum the numbers of it, and I just want to get the sum out of it, which is like I'll be using some var sum equals to 0, and you can make use of sum to this equals to array of I, the value I'll be adding. I don't require this console. Instead, I just use some console to print the sum. Right. Okay. So this is how it will be. Okay. Right. So this is the 40. Now we can make use of this arrangement by using without the block, also by using this var sum equals to 0. So which is like I just define this sum equals to 0 by using some comma here. Okay. And I just commenting it. Okay. And this sum plus of array, I just do before it. Okay. And I can avoid this by using this one, and I just use a semicolon mark here to conclude the statement. I can see that I just add some elements 9 and 3 and 4. Okay, now you can see that that will be changing. So we can use the for loop without any blocks if it is having a simple custom logic. You can made it and you can define it like this, and you can like this is where the part will be having the initialization. The initialization is done. The condition checking part, condition is checking, and then we have this one. We are making use of the after every iteration, it has to do something that is happening there with comma separated, which is like another statement is also there, which is it is happening the sum and also the increment is happening for the I, and both the things it is happening. And here, don't forget to make use of the semicolon. If you forget the semicolon, then it will be printing the each and every iteration. If you can see 0 to 5, 14, all these things, it will be iterating and it will be there. So try to use the semicolon over there, so which is like it will be concluding and it will be displaying that particular thing. Because if you are not concluding that first statement over there, it will continue the next statement to print whatever the condition it is satisfying above. So which is like it will be iterating all those statements below. So if it is console, then that will be better. If it is okay, I mean, then if you are working with something else, so just having any other code, it will execute that many times. So that is the thing we need to have to take care of it. Okay, and like that, like we will be having some conditional statements where we can, on the base of the condition, we can also break that loop and continue kind of thing. So I just quickly go through those things. So which is like for var I equals to 0, I less than um, 5, and I plus plus, and if I equals to 3, and I'm trying to break that loop, and I'm using the console.log after the if condition so that I can see that. Okay. So if you can see that for I equals to 3, it is just breaking it up and it will not continue the loop. So the break statement will uh, terminate the nested loop and it is used to terminate the nested loop. And if in that place I just use the continue, I use the continue, it will hold that value. If you can see 0, 1, 2, 3 is missing and 4 it will be there. So it will be used for this. Yeah, and continues to terminate the execution of the statement in the current iteration of the loop, such as in for, while, do while loop, and immediately continues to the next iteration. It will be doing like this. And there is one more thing we'll be using it is like label. So label we can use it for the later use, and the label can be any valid identifier. So we can reference it in break or continue. So for example, I'm just making some multiple loops inside. So it is mostly useful for the multiple levels of this one. So because a single for loop it will not make any sense to check with that. And I just use some data like this, and I just print that console.log of I comma share. Now, if you can see that that is a huge numbers, it will be coming. So 0, 0 kind of thing. Right. Now, what I do is if I plus j equals to 3, then break. Okay. So I equals to 3, then I am breaking it. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, all those things it will be there. So it is breaking it up. Right. So now I put a label over here. So I'll be using some outer over here. And I just mentioned that after the break, I just call that label. Okay. Now we can see that it will be controlling the outer loop from that break. So which is like from this label, it is controlling, which is like this break statement. Now, if you are not using this label and it will be controlling, I mean, this break will work in the internal loop. But if you are using this label and if you are making use of this break over here, it is working for the external loop. So to make use of your external loop of the and to control like that, you can make use of it. Like you can also use the continue with the same thing, and you can also see the difference what it is happening over there. So if you remove the outer, then this will be that will be something else output will be there, and if you are having that, so if you can see that like this. So try this if you are having any questions, and let me know. So and between 1 and 10 also you can also check numbers resulting 10, and you can also try that. Okay. So that is today. So just like we'll see the functions tomorrow, and we'll discuss the functions and function context tomorrow in the next session. And if you have any questions, let me know today, and we'll conclude the session here. Without unshifting, can't we use add, push, an element? Push an element. So unshifting is to add the element at the first, and push is to add the element at the ending. And without unshifting, can't we use add push element? Pushing is always it will take at the last position, and if you want to push at the first position, it is by using unshift only because you need to have to shift all those element indexes as well. So that is one. Okay. So any other questions? Any other questions? If you have, please do let me know. You can unmute your mic.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Aditya, tell me.
Hello. Sir, this is Udaya,
Yes.
sir. The question was asked by me. My doubt
Okay.
is that first we'll be adding in the scenario like we have to add the element at the starting of the array, like unshifting.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that without, like, won't there be any overlap of indexes without unshifting? If you want to add, won't that be any overlapping? Like at the starting, first we have to unshift.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, we have to push, or directly we can push if we want to add at the array like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an array, and we want to add an element 2 at the starting of the array. Then
Okay.
directly can we push that element a at the starting?
That is
Hello.
what I mean, push is the method to add the element at the end. So, for example, where
Sure.
I just yeah,
Also, without any unshifting, we can add. So we want to yeah. Okay, I got it. I got it. Yeah.
shift right.
Yeah.
So, if you want to add one,
Okay.
so it will give you like this, right?
Of array.
Then it
Okay.
will add your element to the first. Then it will shift your all the indexes. Before that, 2 is in the 0 and 3 is in the 1 kind of thing. Then it will shift
Okay.
all your
Automatically,
index.
that will be shifted.
Yes, yes.
Ah,
You don't
thank you,
have to
sir.
do
Thank you.
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other doubts? Okay. If you don't have any questions, feel free to drop off. We'll wind up the session here and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.